Hello, this is RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Mobile Weekly / Mobile Q&A. We go over all latest news that happened during the week of mobile and tech. We're here to answer your questions live, so ask them in the comments section down below, and I will answer them before the end of the show. All right, guys, we are back today, and we do have some interesting news, mainly actually about the Galaxy Flip 7. So very interested to see what you guys think about it. This is a phone I'm very excited for, especially the more and more we're getting details about. Kind of the opposite with the Fold 7, but we'll have to wait and see. All right, so the Galaxy Flip 7. So first of all, new design. It's looking a lot more like the Razr Plus. And I think this is from probably pressure that definitely was implemented from the Razr Plus, because overall it had the bigger screen last time around. So I think that is something that definitely affected a lot of how Samsung was going to be moving forward. So very interested to see just how will it be this time around, and if people are going to gravitate more towards this one, or the Razr just will step up yet again. Overall, though, this is a really good looking device. As we can see here, you do have the Flip 7 having a much bigger screen, much again like the Razr Plus did. So it's looking like it will be a edge to edge type of display, whereas the Fold is still, we're hearing that it might be bigger, but it's just not going to have as much of a major refresh, thinner, and that's about it. But the Flip is really kind of getting a lot of the attention right now just because of how it's operating. It feels like it's getting a lot more of what people kind of want to see in terms of annual upgrades. This looks more like it. Like, you can tell the difference between this model and last year's model because of this much bigger screen. I really actually missed when I returned my Flip. I did return it, and because I kept the Fold, and like that was one I was going to keep. But for me, it was a big thing, like that, man, the Flip really was just the best vlogging device. So I might have to pick one up this year just to have another device, and one that I could kind of keep with me from now on to always do vlogging. I have the Pocket 3 from Oz, the DJI Osmo Pocket 3, but it's just not as good as this. So that's what I'm really looking for. Let me know what you guys think. I think this is really a good looking phone, and especially if Samsung's Good Lock allows any app to be on the front screen, I think that will be a game changer. But that isn't it. We also, and again, look, so this is the Flip 6, right? Flip 6 to Flip 7, you can tell the difference right away in it. So I think that's what people want to see more from Samsung year over year, being able to see the difference immediately. The Flip 7 is also going to have a 3,000 milliamp improvement on the battery. So that is really amazing that we're getting a bigger battery this time around, because of the fact that the last one did have a 4,000 milliamp battery, and this one's going to have a 4,300. Now, the reason why that's also important is because it is important to note that the Flip 5, the year before the Flip 6, had a 3,700 milliamp battery. So we are now getting substantially each year better and better battery life. Not to mention, this processor is going to give it better battery life as well. So I think we're going to see overall better and better improvements really with this. So definitely interested to see how this phone is going to go again. Then we also have our first, or I think our second leaks from the Pixel 9a, revealing that it's a very interesting thing, right? Compared to, even last year's Pixel 9, now there is no bar at all. It's just kind of flat and smaller, which if your sensor allows it to be, then I guess why not, right? But let me know what you guys think of this design. It is very interesting because it's very flat, and I feel like smartphones are trying to get thinner and thinner. But the funny thing about this one is that it's trying to get thinner. At the same time, the camera bump isn't big, which is the main problem, I would say, with all other smartphones that are trying to get thinner, is that they have a huge camera bump. If the Pixel 9a does not require a bigger camera bump, it seems like they're doing the smarter job and just kind of making it a flatter device. But let me know what you guys think. All right. Now we get to Apple Intelligence, and just the issues Apple has had with this is so bad that apparently their PR team is now starting to discuss on how to kind of quiet these things down, right? Because their next the when Apple was supposed to be getting it right, it's now being pushed back again until later 2026 of this, or sorry, until later 2025 or possibly even 2026 now. So this is really not looking good for Apple because there were a lot of promises made in Apple's advertising. This whole thing of a personalized Siri was in Apple's marketing, and there's actually a lot of talk about, hey, could Apple get sued because these were videos that came out with the iPhone 16 launch. No iPhone 16s have this yet. So it is a really big interesting factor that like Apple definitely overpromised and underdelivered here. So what will happen moving forward? I'm not sure, but this is something that is very interesting just to see how far behind Apple is with this, because Apple was never a software company, right? They've done hardware and they do software here and there, but they do it in minor things or they copy what's already been done. The thing that's different about AI is you can't exactly copy it, right? Apple would be better off buying a company like ChatGPT or something along those lines to really kind of get ahead. But it's really interesting to see what will happen because as of right now, it's Google Gemini, it's ChatGPT, and no one else is on that level. I will say too that Samsung, I think, uses Gemini better than even Pixels do right now with its technology and that what they call Galaxy AI. But really, Galaxy AI uses Google and its own system just to work seamlessly together more so. And again, I will say even better than a Pixel for right now, at least. So it's very curious to see how everything will turn out with Apple Intelligence because they definitely need this, but it's not a quick fix. So, one, do you think if Apple's marketing talked about Apple Intelligence, and it did say, by the way, that it was coming later, like they did have a disclaimer that said like it will be coming later, but what is the definition of later? How can, you're selling it to a person based off of them getting this feature. What is the timeline? I think where a lawsuit could happen is what is the timeline that is expected to happen? I would say most would argue it would be a few months. I would not say a year plus. Let me know what you guys think. All right. The Galaxy S25 Edge, we do expect to be coming in, I would say, a month's time or so. I definitely see it coming in April, May-ish is when I expect to hear about it or it to be released. But this is really an interesting product because it's something that we haven't seen before. It's something that we're very curious to get more about. But with with Samsung really going this thinner route, we keep hearing about the iPhone Air is going to come out, same kind of style, very thin profile with a big camera hump. What price would you be willing to pay for a Galaxy S25 Edge? So the thinnest phone out there, right? Well, some people will pay more than a regular S25, but do you expect to pay more than a Plus or even an Ultra? So what we're hearing right now is that it will be around $1,000. So similar to the S25 Plus in terms of price point instead of the S25 Ultra. So that's what we're hearing right now. It's about $1,000 is what to expect. It's lighter, of course, but I'm really kind of curious, where do you guys think that you would be okay with paying? Say if you're in the market for a regular S25, right? You're in the market for a regular S25, or even if you're in the market for a Plus, would you consider the Edge if it's a lighter, thinner phone? It doesn't have the same camera quality per se as an Ultra, but its claim to fame is that lighter, thinner one. Would you be interested in it? And for me, I really want to see where the Edge specs are going to be in comparison to the Plus, because if they're coming in at the same price point, something has to make you go one way or the other. So very curious on what will happen there. Also, my guess is, and look, this will be a great thing to look back on next year if I'm right, or if I'm wrong. The S26 might be S26, S26 Edge, and S26 Ultra. They could essentially phase out the Plus, because I do not think it's smart to have two products at the same price point, exactly, or about the same price point, when like it just doesn't make as much sense to me. So I could see them actually phasing out the Plus, and then they just have a regular, an Edge, and an Ultra. Well, let's wait and see. Let me know what you guys think. Hey, just want to stop today's news. Shout out to Rob. Rob, thank you for the salute to Ricky. Love you too, bro. Thank you for the super chat. Really do appreciate it, man. All right. And then so Apple is having an issue right now, and it's been going back and forth. So the Apple Vision Pro, I will still call it, the Apple Vision Pro was a development model. They tried to pitch it as, oh, no, this is a final product. It was never a final product. I said that before it came out, that this is the same exact thing that Oculus, that Samsung, that every VR headset, the development kit cost double the price a lot of times that the final product would. That's what the Apple Vision Pro was. It was $3,500. I said that they could actually make it for about $2,000 and still make a good profit off of it. So that's what I expected to be in their next version. The problem is it really didn't sell well, even for a development kit, so much so that it kind of messed up a lot of things. First of all, Apple, while making the Vision Pro and the initial sales, stopped worrying about AR glasses. Meta Ray-Ban's competitor, think of that. So they stopped production on that and really went full Vision Pro. Now that the Vision Pro isn't doing that well, they're considering glasses again, but they stopped the entire production of team design, everything that was going into that. They stopped all that for Vision Pro when it came out. So they are behind now because they just can't figure out what do we want to do. I will say this, as I've said it for a long time. The idea of AR glasses, VR glasses, XR glasses, all of these different competitors, the winner that we are ready for now, that needs to start moving more so, and that can replace smartphones eventually, is smart glasses. Smart glasses is the thing that will set this whole thing off. It will create a new boom period that is so exciting. Like, that is the thing that I am so here for, and I think that will really make a big improvement on the staleness that we've gotten from smartphones, smartwatches, earbud. Like, we've kind of hit roadblock. Like, everything is matured now in each of these things. But I think smart glasses, when we have the big three, Apple, Samsung, and Google, create their own smart glasses, I think we will see a new boom period in that, and that it will be a lot of competition. Very excited for that, and I think that will be the next big thing. Once it's done there, right? Once it's done with that, then I think we'll move on, and we're gonna see VR be ready for so much of what it is not ready for right now. People need longer battery, better processor, all these kind of things, and VR just isn't there yet. But smart glasses, I think, can be there a lot quicker, and everything that happens to smart glasses will only help VR in the end of the day. You have to get a processor that fits inside smart glasses. You're going to get double the size processor in a VR headset. You need to get glasses that actually allow you to have battery for a full day. VR headsets will have like triple that battery. There is so much more that's going to benefit VR once smart glasses gets it done right. And that's what I really, at CES, I did notice that every company is trying to get in while they can before the big three wake up. Basically, there were, I want to say, 6 smart glass companies at CES, and they all, like, oh, we're this good, all this kind of stuff, right? But for me, smart glasses is where I think a lot of people will gravitate towards. and there's so many different versions of them, right? Like, I truly do believe that Soundcore, Beats, all of these different companies should just make audio glasses. Just make Bluetooth audio glasses, last long, sound good, have good microphones. All of these companies should do that. Bose, everyone, and keep going. Like, Bose made some a while back and then dropped them. Soundcore made some a while back and then dropped them. Like, if they make annual or even 2-year versions of these things, I think they will be a bigger hit. After that, and Sony too, right? Like, all the top headphone companies should make those. Then you could come out with other companies that are going to focus in on having a screen on it, and the screen is a different thing. Then there's going to be the social media ones that have cameras on it, right? There's all these different aspects and different kinds of smart glasses you can make, but it's interesting to see how it's going to keep growing and growing. Let me know what your guys' thoughts are. For me, I'm super into smart glasses. I'm trying to see if I can get any sponsorships for smart glasses, because I do want to check them out. But for sure, if I do multiple, they're gonna get pretty expensive, because I would do prescription for all of mine, right? I wear contacts or I wear my glasses, so I would do prescription for all of mine, and that means they run up to about $1,000 each once you add that. So it can get pretty expensive, but I am hoping to get some. I'm gonna buy one probably in the next 3 weeks that I really was impressed with at CES for their battery life. So I'm gonna check those out. But very curious to see all the different ones that'll come out. Of course, the biggest ones that I can't wait for is the Samsung smart glasses, because those I think are going to be Samsung's much needed hit if they ever finally do it. All right. Last bit of news, then we're going to get to your questions. I see a lot of you guys have asked some questions in the chats. I will get to that. The laptop, some about phones, daylight savings time, it, all these kind of things I will get to in the comment section after this article. So make sure to go ahead and ask your questions now, and I'll get to it before the end of the show. All right, now we don't get into politics here, guys, so I cannot stress that enough. We do not want to get into the political aspect of this, especially in this environment, because it's really crazy. But I will say this. This is a very interesting thing. And the DOJ reiterates that it wants Google to sell Chrome. It's more because of the fact that it's a search monopoly, and Chrome needs to be on its own, away from, basically Android as well as YouTube. So it thinks, Chrome by itself should be a different company separate from Google. I have many thoughts on this. At the end of the day, the thing I will say that I always get irritated with in terms of politics and technology is that I think people that don't understand technology and how it works shouldn't make decisions like this, because this is really frustrating, right? Like, you don't understand how Chrome is integrated into everything. If you want Chrome to no longer pay Apple and Samsung and all of these companies to basically be, connected with it, that's one thing. Sure, right? Like, let's do that. Let's say, hey, you can no longer pay any company to be the default, right? So Chrome can't come anymore with, your smartphone. It doesn't come pre-installed anymore. It doesn't come pre-installed with, your iPhone. It doesn't come pre-installed with any other device, right? Okay, fine. I think what you'll find is Chrome is still going to be downloaded by everyone. Like, it's just that far ahead in terms of a good quality. And you know how I know that? Because every PC maker is still Windows, right? Apple's there, and Apple still has its, 20% segment that it's kind of fluctuated throughout the years, going down to 15, going up to 25, but it's pretty much stayed there. And then Chrome also came around and took another 10% of it. But the majority of PCs are still Windows based. If you go into a Best Buy, there are 3 options. It's Chromebooks, it's Windows, and it's Apple PCs, MacBooks. That's it. There isn't that much of a leeway at all. And maybe Firefox could start paying to be on it, right? Maybe all these companies could start kind of getting things that from it. But it really, for me, I think that when it comes to politics, we should have people that know about technology to kind of help them more, because it's just such a thing of like the structure that it would change would affect almost everyone, and not just even in the US. Almost everyone in the world uses Chrome. So the fact that it would be detached from Google entirely, and obviously they would still work with it in terms of some cases, because you have to have ads and Google ads. So Google ads would then be separate from Chrome, but then they would still make money off of it. It's so integrated that again, it's stressful that they don't know about it. The plain and simple of it is this will be updated by the end of September on what decision will be made, because obviously Google's going to appeal it and all that kind of stuff. But let me know what you guys think. I think that I rather have Google not be able to do certain things but keep Chrome, and not to mention that if you know, Google has a plan for this already, and they would just make Chrome be replaced by Android, and Android turns into a keyboard and mouse operating system much more fluidly, and then you don't really need Chrome. So yeah, always people are going to get around things, and again, knowing is half the battle. All right, guys, let's get to your questions now. If you have a question you want to ask, just ask it in the comment section down below, and I will answer it before the end of the show. All right, hey Ricky, it's been a while. Hey man, how you been? Hey Ricky, I'll catch you later. I'm watching AEW Revolution. Hey, hope you like it, man. Could you help me figure out a good processor to get from Best Buy? I'm trying to upgrade to Windows 11. I tried to send you a screenshot via email. I need a good processor for video editing. Okay, yeah, so let's go ahead and check out Best Buy. If you are still on here, did you... Well, proceed. Sorry, speaking of Chrome, I went less than a day with if you know, one bad thing that Google did with Chrome right now is they basically effectively try to block every set of ads out there. So uBlock is probably, you know what, I'm not going to talk about just in case it gets flagged for talking about blocking ads. So yeah, let's see. Let's get to your question. So I'm guessing when you say a good, so you're saying a good processor to upgrade to Windows 11. Are you talking about a laptop, or are you talking about just the processor for a PC you've built? Please clarify on that, and then I can help you out more. Because a processor, there are many processors. Any kind of Ryzen 579 would be good. Any kind of, for 7.9 would probably be better for video editing. And then definitely I would go with for Intel, you would go with the i7 or Ultra 7, or i7 or Ultra 7 depending on the year. So yeah, let me know. So yeah, for a PC build, so yeah, like, let's see. Let's check out computers, computer components. All right. Now I will say I am partial to Newegg when it comes to this, just because they're finding it is better and easier. But yeah. All right. Sorry, I was just very curious because it said what brand, and there's only really two brands, AMD and Intel. Now, I guess the thing is so for a PC build, you have to either you're getting a new motherboard as well, which will go with this one, or you have to first find out what socket you currently have and make sure it's compatible with it. So for Intel, it's been, I want to say, the same one for most years now, so you can kind of get them very easily, the same socket. For AMD, that did change a little bit more recently, so you have AM5 socket and AM4 socket. So you do have to make sure whatever processor you're getting is compatible with whatever motherboard you have, or you have to get a new motherboard and a new socket. A new processor. So just keep that in mind. But yeah, let's see. Let's go with. Okay, well, that's just annoying me. So let me just fix that first. So I don't know if you don't know what socket it is. Definitely gonna want to find that out for which motherboard you have, basically. All right. 9700 58 XT. It's like this is great for an older one for the AM4. Like that's great for that one. You don't need the X3D. It's more for gaming. I need a budget laptop to edit video. Any suggestions? I'll take a look at that after. Let's see. Yeah. 50. Problem is that every year these come out and AMD is getting more and more confusing with this. So I have to really look at the threads, the cores, and then the speed. Let me see. I'm going to filter by the newer ones. So that way you can kind of know when it came out. Unfortunately, the Ultra series has gotten some issues because it's newer, but it's not necessarily better than the older ones. And so you can sometimes get packages like this where you get the motherboard and the processor, so that you know it works together, obviously. But let's see, the 9700. I think this one is the one probably I'm gonna recommend because yeah, it's just gonna be better in the long run. Also note, I'm very much a firm believer of get something that lasts long instead of like, you know, hey, I'm just gonna buy something and then, you know, hopefully it, like, yeah, you just want to buy something that lasts longer. This seems so much more to me than it should be. Is that really the price of the i7 comparing to it? Okay. All right. So yeah, so I'm gonna go with this one. The latest generation Ryzen 7 9700X, and X just means it doesn't have a GPU, so you do have to have a GPU, which you should anyway for editing video. So just make sure of that. And then this one is going to be the K series from Intel, the 1400s, i7 1400, 14th generation. So it's not their newest one, but their newest one, again, is just more efficient in terms of energy. So that would only be really concerning if you were like, hey, I have a very low powered power supply. Then yeah, then I would go with that. But for the price of this, it's overall I would just go with this one. But yeah, so these are the two that I would choose. I will send you links. Whoops. And yeah, I'll send you those links right now. I hate this thing. Sorry, just have to do one thing first, and it's very annoying. So, how does everyone feel about daylight savings time? Does everyone hate it as much as I do? Oh my god. Sorry, hopefully the video just didn't freeze because stupid thing is. Okay. All right. There we go. Now I can send a link. Okay. And these are affiliate links, so it does help me out if you do buy it, but very little because Best Buy doesn't give much. All right. So this is the AMD one. And this one is the Intel one. The Intel one is, again, last year's model. The AMD one is this year's model. So, and because it's cheaper, overall, it would be the better one to go with between the two. But yeah, I would just, me personally, I really do like what AMD has done in terms of their processors. I think it's kind of on point at this point. I think where they're lagging still is their GPUs, although this one is much better this year that just came out. All right, let's get to other questions. Just want to make sure I don't miss anything else before the budget editing computer. So I have some older iPhones like the iPhone 5C, 4S. They won't connect to any Wi-Fi anymore. Why is that? I also have an iPad 2 that won't connect to Wi-Fi. I'm not sure why it wouldn't connect to Wi-Fi. You might want to check to see, does it connect to any Wi-Fi or just certain Wi-Fis? Like if you have a network that's based off of Wi-Fi 5.8 and not backwards compatible to 2.4, that might be an issue. Other than that, I don't know. You could check, make sure they're updated to the latest iOS version that they're capable of being updated to. But there is nothing that should stop it from actually working with it. The oldest phone works is with Wi-Fi is iPhone 6. Yeah, I'm wondering if it's a age thing with the routers you're using versus the network you're on. I saw some smart swimming goggles recently. I was interested to learn more on whether they're worth it. Smart swimming goggles. That is so interesting. I would definitely look into it. I'm gonna do that search later. Huh. Would have never thought that. Do you have any suggestions on a good wireless outdoor security camera? The ones that I would say I still use the most is Eufy. So that's the ones I still use for all of my security cameras outside. I did do a sponsorship with a new company that is pretty good. I will say their battery life was a little bit less than expected. So that's why I kind of lean towards Eufy the most. But it really depends on also what you're looking for. In terms of a wireless one, let me go to this so you can see. Okay. So this is probably the one I would recommend the most if you're just looking for one. You can get much cheaper if you are looking for basically one direction. So that's kind of one of the big things you always have to ask yourself. Are you looking for a one direction camera or do you want to be able to rotate and spin around? Also, are you going to pay for storage or are you going to have the storage yourself? So I have a Eufy setup where it has this little thing, a Homebase 3. And what that does is I have a terabyte drive where all of my footage goes into, so I don't have to pay for an online subscription. You can also pay for an online subscription if you want, but again, just kind of depends on that purpose. So I would say these two. So for the much cheaper option, this one, $66, really, good quality all around. Again, I'm getting an affiliate link for this, so just full disclosure on that. But this one is what I would say for it. So, and this is one direction camera, right? And the second one is a camera that can actually turn around. So this is, I believe, the model I have in my backyard, if I'm not mistaken. So literally today, I had it in my backyard, and my son wanted to go on the trampoline. I was like, all right, I'll watch you from the camera just to make sure of everything. He's older, so he doesn't need to be that supervised. but like I had the camera on it, and I turned it from normally looking at the gate, to make sure no one's coming in, but then I just turned it around and was able to look at there. So that's the benefit of this one. Definitely a better way to go, in my opinion. So this is multi-direction. There we go. All right. Um, I'll try my Wi-Fi at school tomorrow and let you know how it goes next week. Sounds good. Um, DT Daylight Savings has been fun. Also, hear about new community feature on YouTube. It's gonna be like Reddit. Yes, I don't have it yet, so I don't have the new feature of community. I have seen it. I've been in meetings where they talked about it, but yeah, I do not have it. So yeah, memory full. Did someone see like a memory full thing, or what? What was that? Someone asked memory full. Need a budget laptop to edit videos. Any suggestions? Sure, let's take a look. Okay. So let's go back and let's take a look at some laptops for editing video. Doop. All right. So we're going to take a look at some laptops for editing video. By the way, again, if you guys have any questions, let me know. Rick with the long hair and swallow. Oh, yeah. You can see the ponytail back here. It's still going. I still don't know what I'm trying to grow it a little bit longer. I am also trying to lose weight right now, so I'm hoping the slim down face will look better here, so it looks more John Wickish style is what I'm trying to get to. So we'll see how that goes. But that's my experiment right now for my longer hair. Okay, so when it comes to a laptop, the main thing you want to take a look at, for asking for the budget laptop, does screen size matter? Do you want it to be a bigger screen size, or do you want it to be a smaller screen size? So do you want it to be a 13-inch, 14-inch laptop, or 15-inch, 16-inch is okay, or even 17-inch, which will weigh a lot more? Let me know. Also, smaller tends to be longer battery life, and taller lets to be, yeah. So yeah. Let's see. All right. But so first thing you want to do is you do want to make sure, let's go with Windows, because Chrome OS isn't going to be good for video editing. In this case, I would steer with Intel and AMD just because it really is going to be, I would say, better overall when it comes to editing than a Qualcomm processor currently is. I have a Qualcomm one. I do some light video editing on it, but it's still not as good. It's not where you would want it to be, where if you're doing video editing for real, I would steer right now with Intel and AMD. I would definitely recommend getting a 16 gigs and up type of RAM for sure. So, the more RAM, the better, but 16 is my minimum for most computers, but definitely for a video editing. All right, and then I just want to see if they just have. Okay, so we're gonna go either AMD or NVIDIA. Ricky, what does 2025 have in store for you? I don't know. Although I've talked about this, that I can't really talk about it, but I don't even know if I'm going to have a job in a month or so. So that'll be kind of interesting. I mean, I'm very hopeful. I'm very, hopefully all that kind of stuff will happen. But it's just very, yeah, it's a little nerve wracking sometimes, just kind of like not knowing what the future holds, not knowing what's going to happen, and just trying to make the best out of everything I can. Basically, is kind of what I'm trying to go for. All right, so let's see. I think we can go as far back as this, and then that. We'll go down to a 4060 if we need to. And then the 3000 series is going to be, the 50 series is going to be crazy probably right now. But you know what? Let me at least look at that. So hold on. Right? No, actually won't. Not 50. Because it's only gonna be 57 even. Yeah, no, it's gonna be too expensive. So yeah, so we'll look at those. Yeah. All right. And now we're gonna do it by price, so we can start to see what the lowest price point is. All right. And let's not show exclude out of stock. We don't need to see that stuff. All right, so you can see we're kind of starting at the price point of $1,000 for a decent one right now. Mind you, there is you can always look to open box like this one right here, right, to get it cheaper, and you can find that. So I would recommend always that for sure. Um, for Okay, so this one is the absolute cheapest one. Has a lot of RAM, 16-inch display, so it's a little bit bigger. So just know that going in. So that one is probably the best overall one for the price. However, I do want to find you one with a better graphics card if we can do it. So I'm looking for a 4070 right now and seeing if we can get that. So, oh, these prices are way too high. All right, so it looks like this is going to be the first one that's at the cheapest price. Definitely I would say look for an open box. So I'm gonna send these two, but I would definitely say look for an open box for sure. So maybe we might even do that right after. All right, so this one is one with the RTX 4060, and then this one is going to be the one with the 4070. So there you have both of those. I did just see you actually wanted a 14-inch display, so that will drive the price up a little bit. But let's go ahead and see it. All right. So not too much more. So this one, Asus Tough, good all around. Again, just look to see if they have an open box. It might be a little bit cheaper for you. But yeah, so this one, boom, 14-inch. And then if you want a 4070 with that's literally what I have, by the way. So the laptop that I have here is a 4070 and a 14-inch display, but it's a little bit more expensive. It's this one, but just with the 4070 version. So it unfortunately just really gets up there. So yeah, this is literally the upgraded version of mine. It is on a deal right now. It does end in about 2 hours. It looks like goes back up to $19.99. So just keep that in mind. But this is literally the upgraded version of mine. However, they are making a newer one that's coming out in about a month. So this model might be discounted again, even maybe a deeper discounted, but upgrade of mine. And I literally edit 4K video with this all the time. So yeah, that's it's compared to mine. This has a newer processor than the one I have. It has an OLED display, which I'm very jealous of. It's one of the reasons I might get the new model of this one when it comes out. But yeah, really great and very beautiful looking. I really do like mine, but this one looked a lot better. It's very clean looking. But yeah, I definitely highly recommend this one. I love it. It's lightweight and I can take it around mostly everywhere, and yeah, everything I need it for. All right. But yeah, so get back to the question. What do I have in store for 2025? Again, I do not know what will be my job situation in a month or two. So that is a little bit nerve wracking for sure. It's, the funny thing is like, if finance was taken care of, right? Like if I had, if I did lose my job, but then got like a severance or something like that, that might be a blessing in disguise, because then I could try full time again on YouTube. And I'm, I don't know if arrogant enough, but just like sure of how much I would work my butt off to try to get to 500,000 followers by the end of the year, if I was able to have that much time now. And that my whole thing was always, once I reach that, I'll go full time, because I think that you know the amount of brand deals you could get once you get to that is like, okay, that could sustain me, and then I could do so many of the fun videos that I really love to do but that take more time to do, so I don't get to do as much, right? Like, I owe you guys about 5 videos on the S25 Ultra and S25 in general, and I have filmed part of them, have not edited any of them, and it's the time to try to prioritize everything. And I'm not saying I do it better or that it can't be done better. It's just one thing. It's like, you know, I want to spend time with the kids. I want to, on 2 kids, right? Gotta spend enough time with both of them. Make sure they're happy. Gotta spend enough time with wife. Happy wife, happy life. Gotta, be good enough at work to where I can hopefully keep going up, right? Is always my mentality at work. My mentality at work is what can I do to next year get promoted? That's always my mentality at work. So all of these things, and then at the end of the day, having the energy to be on for you guys and to do the videos. I'm not as good as I could be at it, but if I was able to do it, that was it. Oh man, I think now, like, knowing everything that I know, having been on the brand side, right? I worked for Newegg, and I worked with every creator you could think of in tech for the most part. I would say MKBHD was the one I really didn't, but every other creator pretty much I've worked with, talked to, and all that kind of stuff from a brand side. So getting that perspective really was so much for me. And then now on a platform side, where I literally work as the platform and see every fault that creators don't do that they really should, and learning what's important, like, I think it could help me if I were to ever go full time again. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, I like that, Rob. I never heard of that one. Happy spouse, happy house. That's a new one. So yeah, good one. All right, guys. With that being said, I think we're going to start wrapping up. If you guys don't have any other questions, let me know in the comment section if you do. But that was kind of everything I saw earlier today. Thank you guys for tuning in. I really do appreciate it. Again, we're going to try to keep Mobile Weekly going every single weekend. I just wasn't feeling good last week. I don't know if it was, I think it was food poisoning. But yeah, hopefully do better. And yeah, I know I have to do more videos for you guys. I acknowledge that, and I'm going to keep trying. It's just so many things and the uncertainty and everything. And that's why I did do a lot of brand deals over the past 2 months, was because I needed some assurance. Basically, if I lost a job, mortgage has to be paid, all these things have to be done, and all that kind of stuff. So I had to, I had to take all those. But again, the one deal I always make with you guys is that I will never take a brand deal that I do not believe in. Like, and I literally sent products back. I've canceled contracts. I've done all of that, because if the product's not good, I'm just not going to do it. I'm not going to do it. I have to believe in the product. I'm not going to shill just to shill. Like, I'm going to, this is a good product. I really liked using it. This is why I liked using it. That is my idea behind any of these videos. But yeah. All right, guys. Favorite ebook reader. It's so hard, because I would have to say, right, like, that Kindle owns the market on it. It really does. And but there's been really interesting ones coming out. One just actually reached out to a sponsor deal coming up, and it's one where it's like, the one that started this was called Remarkable, where it was one where you can write as well as it's like a notepad plus it's an e-reader. So I think that kind of style is interesting. For me, more than anything, I am just still so shocked that, like, I know why it's greed, but why e-readers haven't replaced all books in schools. Like, why are students still spending so much money on textbooks and these heavy books when an e-reader that's so light, so thin, could last weeks, could literally have every book in there. Like, I understand why, because textbooks companies are doing that on purpose. They don't want to go ebook readers. But guess what? It really does make sense to do so. But yeah, that's God. Like, yeah. So yeah, again, not getting into politics, all that kind of stuff, but that is one thing that, like, man, if I was like on a school board, all ebooks, that would be it. That would be the biggest mandate, and students would be happier because, I mean, if you remember how it was for us back in the day, and I know everyone's a different age here, but for me, growing up in the 90s as a student and the early 2000s as a student, my back got probably so messed up from all the heavy books that I had to take around. So the fact of that, like, if I could have had one ebook the size of a Kindle and that would have been it, like, I could get the most expensive Kindle, because the most expensive Kindle is like $400, $500, right? That instead of all the college textbooks that would be in the hundreds to thousands that you would have to get, is insane. And I'm not saying all the textbooks would be free, but you could essentially do a very easy rental policy with them, right? You could say, hey, I only need this for 6 months or however long the class is. Boom, done. And it's so much more efficient. So yeah, that's what I would really gravitate towards that. But yeah, Kindle kind of owns it. I would say the biggest monopoly on it, just because things like Kindle Unlimited and things like that really keep it. But yeah, I understand that there's definitely a need. Like, there's Kobo, there's all these different ones, but I don't know if anyone has really been able to compete with Kindle. And I wish there were, but I am not in that world enough to know it for sure. Oh my God, the elements of literature books are heavy, right? Books are probably lighter books would be nice. Yes, for sure. All right, guys. But with that said, I will call that a show. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. Make sure you click the like, thumbs up button, guys. And, always, if you can, any video that has really helped you out in the past, share it. And it really does help me out. The more people see the videos, the more that the end of the tunnel for me looks promising. All right, guys. Thank you again for watching. This has been RICKY, the YouTube Tech Guy. Thank you so much again for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below. Also, follow me on social media at YouTube Tech Guy. And check out some more great tech videos on your screen right now.